Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Let's Stay Gamers, and welcome. So today I want to show you a new construction. Now this is the worm drilling rig, and the idea of it is a interesting little craft that can extract resources from planets. It's all remote control, and one of the really cool features about it is it has independent sort of suspension. You've seen a system like this before, and we've actually got two arcs of suspension on each one of these individual ribs, so that allows us to flex across the land just like a snake or a worm would do, but in a more mechanical sort of sense. But let's actually see this thing in action. You want to see it? Let's do it. Right, so we're going to switch over to the other camera, and we're actually going to drive it. So the first thing you'll notice is if we just drive it in a straight line, it's pretty slow, it gets stuck on the terrain. But if we apply a snake or a worm sort of concept to it and we wiggle it across the land, just look at how much the speed actually increases as we wiggle. So if we want to slow this down as well, we need to access our rear thrusters, so we can turn them on and off and control our speed. Just look at that worm across. Wow, this when I first built this, I was like, wow, this is so pretty. But then we can actually bring it back around. We can also control the other tail, so if you get yourself into a little bit of a drilling jam, we'll flip back over and move the camera a little bit further. But if you get yourself in a little bit of a drilling jam, you can actually reverse it out using the other head of the worm. So it's like a worm with two heads. Give it a little bit of a worm sort of effect. And you can see the heads on the gyroscope as well, so we can turn it from left to right. Let's zoom out a little bit and just see this thing in action as it goes across the land. There we go, give it back that. So, like I said before, if we just apply the basic concept of trying to move it forward, it doesn't go very fast. But as soon as we start to worm it left and right, you can actually see how it picks up in its speed as it actually snails across. Now, the second feature I wanted to show you about this is that it doesn't work purely in that function as well. We've got a coil effect, so you'll notice each of the individual ones. So if we apply a little bit of pressure, we press F9, you can see how it pulls it in and then stretches back out like a worm would with its individual sort of ribs. You can see that sort of pulsing a little bit like a slinky going down a staircase. You can see how it just pulses in and out. So we've got that extra effect like a little bit of a rope, so it means it can move further than if it didn't have that feature as well. So it's just really nice. But let's get drilling, let's break into this terrain. So now we can actually begin digging into the terrain. But I do warn you, it's not the same as before where it was a constant sort of drill. The drill tends to drill in like pulses now. So if I actually start to dig into the terrain, and we make ourselves a small incision here for the little worm to go into, just look at that, how it breaks into the terrain just like a worm. You can see how it's pulsing rather than just flowing straight through the actual voxel terrain. So there we go, we drop down a little bit further. Now we do have to be careful at such a point, because we're not going to be able to store too much material in the back, and we don't want to be going straight down like this because the weight of the actual ship will begin to crush the drill head, so we don't actually have to level out. So you can see the worms going into the terrain like that. So let's access F8 and then just move the camera to a better position. And then 9, and we can actually try to level this drill out by pulling its head up and then bringing the tunnel down. So we're going to push in and actually start to work our tunnel parallel. Okay, tail's working out well. Okay, when we're starting to bring that L-shaped sort of junction down as well. So I've just quickly reconnected myself to the drill. I had a little bit of a problem because I wasn't sitting in a seat. So I've actually moved a little bit closer to the drill itself and reconnected wirelessly. And we're just going to go F9 and make sure our drill can actually go through here so we can pull our rest of the worm down. And we're trying to get that L shape so we can actually drill across rather than straight down. So there we go, we've got that pulsing sort of effect. You can see the tail is also drilling as well because I forgot to go and turn that off. But in the final sort of version, we'll get that turned off and we won't have any problem with that at all. But we can use that tail also to come out as well. So here's the problem. This is where the tail's going to try to whip down, so I'm going to make sure them thrusters don't catch. And there we go, we can continue going down at that safer angle rather than that straight down plummet that we would have done before. Just so cool, I love messing around with features like this. Let's go back to F8 and just have a look at that tunnel we've carved ourselves. Oh, really creepy. We need to maybe paint in a bit more of a creepy colour as well, so it's a bit more scary. We've got a nice little worm tunnel going down. And we'll try bringing it back up, shall we? Let's do that. If we go back to F9, we can actually start to pull our worm out of the hole. We might have to access a little bit of a better angle to do this though, so let's start drilling here if we can. Let's try to get a nice little angle for the hole to come out of, because we can't come out vertically, but at the same time the drill is on at the bottom, so this is going to maybe prove a little bit of a problem. So let's actually try moving up. Oh, the other engines are on as well. Turn the other engines off so we don't have any resistance. Oh no, what have we done? Let's just check. Oh yeah, it looks like we made a secondary hole. And it's sliding back down there, so maybe we need something more thrust or something. So let me just access F9. So you can see we can actually pull a lot of the craft up through that hole, but maybe we just need more thrust to be able to do it actually successfully. because it looks like we're pulling halfway up. If we maybe just wrap around into that other area. Ah, I think I know what it is. The secondary drill's on, so every time we pull up further, the drill drills us down further. So we fall down a little bit with the other part. Okay, we could end up in a serious problem here. Now, you could even drill yourself open. But it looks like, I don't know if you ever remember playing that Noddy game, or the game where you drill down and you have to try to escape a tunnel network. And if you cut yourself through your own tunnel, then you're dead. It's a bit like that. Let me back to 9. Let's try drilling ourselves within a circle, since we're not going to be able to actually get ourselves out of this. That one's still going down. Our rear drill's going up. Let's see if we can try getting that going the other way around. Okay, good. We're making ourselves a bit of a catacomb there. Let's just drill it down. Screw it. Okay, the worm is going. He is working away. He can't come out of the tunnel though because he's too heavy. So the next upgrade will be changing the thrusters, I think, so we can actually get out of the tunnel that we've made for ourselves. And like I said, if there's too much weight on the drills like that, we've gone straight down, it just snaps them off. So that's why we have to concentrate on coming down at an angle. So in theory, it works. It just needs a little bit more thrust so it can escape the tunnel once it's dug. But on top of the surface, it slithers across the ground perfectly. I just need to work on some more of its underground features. But if you guys have got any ideas or things that could possibly help out with this build, do let me know in the comments below. And I'll try to add them to it, and maybe even to get this design fixed so we can get it on the workshop so you can have a play around with it. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.